Once a month on my Twitch channel, I have this event called Fun Game Friday, and basically, I play a brand new game that I've never played before with my Twitch chat. And the game that I ended up playing for August is called Swordlets. So first of all, I open this game, and can we just talk about how cute this is? Like the background, the text, everything. It was so freaking cute. Ignore the bottom right behind me. I was using my VTuber for this stream, but honestly I shouldn't have because it was a very quiet, calm, cozy stream. But when I'm doing it for a YouTube video, I don't want it to be calm and cozy. I want to scream from the rooftops about how fun and cute this game was. So first things first, I start a new world. Pretty basic here. I get to name the town, but there are 3 starting maps that you can choose from and an option to skip the tutorial, which I appreciate. First of all, variety, and second of all, maybe I've already played this game a million times before and I didn't want you to walk me through how to play the game. It's always nice to have that option. But what I will say about the tutorial is I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way that I do about tutorials. It is really annoying when they hold your hand and make you walk through everything. This game didn't do that. But first it gave me some background about, oh, you want to know why the Gordlets, like, what makes them happy, so you can take care of them. And it said, Gordlets are just silly little guys. I love that. I love that. And it says because they are generally too sleepy and distracted to have much of an opinion on anything, they will thrive regardless of what you build. We tried explaining capitalism to the Gordlets, but it made them feel too tired, so you don't have to worry about managing currency or resources. It's nice to have a cozy game where you can escape from all of those things because I, like many others, get really stressed out by those kinds of things in the world, but it just adds a little sparkle to it, tying it into the game in a lore way. Like, the Gordlets don't just not care about it. It's not just not a part of their world. It's you tried explaining it to them and they don't care. They just want to sleep. I thought that was adorable. But here it's walking me through kind of all the controls in a very hands-off kind of tutorial way. It's just pointing to all of the buttons and telling me what each of the buttons does, which is a chef's kiss for a tutorial, right? Because even though some tutorials are very controlling about what you do and walking you through everything, even those tutorials will sometimes not tell you everything there is to do. And obviously after the tutorial, I had to mess around with the buttons because even though it told me what they did, no, I gotta see it for myself because that's how I'm gonna learn. I'm not gonna learn just by reading it, I'm gonna learn by doing it. So I immediately start expanding the island, which I wasn't really sure about. I looked at this when I was done with it, I was like, oh, that's kind of big, I probably won't end up using all of that. I end up expanding it even more. But before I do that, I make a little dock. And maybe it's just where I used to live, but it doesn't make sense in my head to have a dock that's not next to a beach. Again, maybe that's just a me thing, but it didn't make sense to me to not have a beach next to the dock. So I made a beach, but while I was making the beach, I realized that there was a different colored dock. And I don't know if you caught that right there. I made my Gordlet disappear, but it's okay. She's fine. She just went to like the other side of the island. I didn't like kill her or anything. Thankfully, I was going to cry. I was so shocked when that happened. You know what I didn't expect? The Gordlets fishing. It was such like a short and simple animation, but it was so freaking cute, and it was nice to see the Gordlets actually interacting with the things that I put in their world. But I didn't even go through all of the items that you have to place down yet. And when I looked more, I found this statue. You want to know what that statue is called? Our Gord and Savior. The Gordlets have religion, and it's so cute. I end up making like a little shrine for it and making it much prettier than I did initially. But again, this island is much smaller than it ended up being. It ended up being probably 3 or 4 times the size that I originally had it, just because it was so easy to take up so much space. And there's so many things for you to place down. And anybody who plays cozy little sandbox games knows that when you just have a bunch of things to decorate with, you end up running out of space so fast. And honestly, I probably could have used the space even better. And if I were to go back and play this game again, I would use the space better. But the funny thing about me choosing this game to play for Fun Game Friday is that I am actually really, really, really bad at 100% freeform creativity. I do best, even with creative work, when I have even just the slightest guidance. So games like this, while they're fun and adorable and I do love them, they're actually not my strong suit. So when these events happen, like getting a parcel train or a Gordlet train, whenever that happened, it was kind of helpful because it gave me something to stick on to. And this parcel train gave me a grill. So I saw that and immediately my brain was like, oh, guidance, thank you. So I thought I should make a little campsite. And of course, after I decided to make a little campsite, I immediately got distracted by other objects that I hadn't messed around with. Like a lighthouse for some reason. I don't know why actually. But I did. I got slightly distracted by a lighthouse. And the worst part about it was that the lighthouse was not the end of it. I saw houses and my mind stuck to that so fast. My brain was just like, obviously, my Gordlets need a house. But when I went to go place the house, it was like, wow, my island is actually really tiny. I should expand it so my Gordlets have a place to live. So this is when the expansion begun. This is not the end of the expansion. I end up expanding it like 2 or 3 more times. Because again, you always need more space than you think. So I was just placing these little houses down, just putting them in rows, making like a really compact neighborhood that I would never actually want to live in real life. But when I was doing that, I found out you can go inside of them. I didn't even think about that. Like it never occurred to me that I might be able to design the inside of the Gordlet's houses. I don't know why I didn't think about that, but that is such a nice little feature because even if you look at 2 cities that 2 different people did, and even if you think they look exactly the same, if you go in each of the houses, it's still gonna be different because every single house you can design completely unique. I didn't really have an idea of what to do with the houses, but I figured I may as well unbox everything and organize it. At least the items that the Gordlet already has. I go back later and I end up designing a lot of the houses on the inside, and that part took up a good majority of the stream of just designing all the itty bitty details. But I wasn't to that stage yet. There were still things outside that I wanted to do. So I didn't sit down and do that quite yet, especially because it was a random house. I didn't remember which house I clicked on. I clicked on it by accident. So I just headed back outside and continued to work on the things outside that I wanted to do when I got another gourd. And that gourd is named Chai. And I just think that is the cutest name for a little gourd. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's adorable. And the gourd is yellow. And I really like the color yellow. But I really like bright colors overall. So maybe I just like this. You know what? Maybe you will too, okay? That's why I make these videos. It was so nice though because I noticed the gourd started grilling. I don't know what the gourd was grilling, but it kind of looks like Dongo. So I thought that was cute. I also, of course, put down a little table and some park benches. So maybe if the gourd wanted to sit down and eat, she could. Guess what? I didn't see them eating, but the gourds sat down together at the park bench, which took me a minute to notice actually because I got distracted by these egg items. And when I realized that they were sitting at the park bench together, one was already walking away, so I tried to put her back and I just picked her up and I was dangling her by her feet. I felt so bad, but she's okay, so it's fine. I still wanted to mess around with more of the controls though, so I messed around with more buttons. I just clicked them and see what they did. And one of the buttons that I found was a time and season and weather controller, which that's one of those settings that does nothing but make the player happy. That's literally all it does. That's its only purpose. I eventually decided to take out all of the trees after turning the season to autumn, which you might think I'm kooky, but hear me out. I just saw other trees that I liked more. So I wanted to put those trees down, and I don't know what it was. I didn't really like the idea of looking at those two different trees together. So I just wanted it to be one kind of tree. So I took out the other green trees and I just put in these pink trees. They're pretty. Well, are they pink or orange? Coral, maybe? I don't know. I did a bunch of little decor on the beach and I realized that the Gourlets actually swing on the trees, which was so adorable. It's now all sped up, as you probably see, as you probably hear. I spent the next hour or so just in all the tiny details. You saw that I did go into a house, but I do so much more of that. I cut up the beginning of this video was probably about 2 hours of me just running around and exploring all of the features. This, the whole time lapse, is me going in and kind of perfecting every single detail and really very much attempting to tap in to some creative brain cells to make it a more unique town, a more personalized town, if you will. So again, like I mentioned earlier, I went in and I expanded the whole thing like 3 more times. I added more of a beach. I kept some like lake areas by the beach. I don't know if it really counts as a lake if it's right next to the I don't I don't know how water systems work. In the grand scheme of things, there's not that many things to do in this game, but sometimes you just kind of need a game like that. I mean, you get little townsfolk, you get homes for the townsfolk, decorate their homes, you stylize everything, and sometimes that's all you really need. Which is mostly why we're in the time lapse, because I'm just utilizing all of the features that I've already mentioned, putting in all of the decor, trying to customize each and every house and make it totally unique, which again was hard because it wasn't just making every single house a house for Gorlets to live in. It was also trying to make, in theory, a functioning town. So I tried to put in a bakery and a gym and all of that stuff. But like I said, the whole freeform creativity is not the easiest for me to do. So I struggled a little bit, but thankfully, chat came to my rescue and helped me brainstorm some ideas for some of these buildings. And overall, it was just a fun, cozy Friday. I know this video was short, but if you want to see the full, unfiltered, unedited version, be sure to check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Bobagun. The first Friday of every month is Fun Game Friday. So when this video gets posted, next Friday, September 5th, is the next Fun Game Friday. So if you want to see all of the details, see me struggle and rack my brain and figure out new things for the first time, be sure to come hang out. But if not, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!